Alrighty, welcome back. You know what day it is? It's Friday! It's a nice day out today, and we're going to stay outside when it's nice because that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Right now, though, I have the chassis sitting somewhat what I like to have it set. It is actually pretty close. What I'm thinking is I want to run at least a 30-inch wheel in the back. I went down back in the junk pile and found some 30-inch wheels. They don't look very good, but I'm using them for mock-up. They measure up 30 inches, that's what I'm going to use. And basically what I'm doing is I went to town this morning. We bought these little hats for the rear end. I'm going to weld these to the chassis, and then I can set a rear end across there and see where I'm going to put it. I know where I'm going to put it because we marked it the other day. It's a 112 in length in the wheelbase. This 30-inch wheel I've measured here right now. It's a 30-inch wheel. Anyways, when you come over here and you measure the car, there's Fina Bean underneath the car. We've only got 28.5. So that's going to make, that means the car would sit on top of the frame. That's what we are going to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to section this car. I'm going to bring this wheel well. I'm going to cut this probably, how many inches here? We've got 4 inches on this car right here. I'm going to section the back of it. So I'm going to bring this wheel lip. I'm going to take 4 inches out of it. I'm going to bring this wheel up to here, which means that I'm going to be able to have this 30-inch wheel right underneath this opening at this height. That's what I'm thinking it's saying. As the height that I have it right now, as it's going like this, it's up in the front. It's at where it's at in the back. And I'll explain to you as I go. But right now, I want to make these hats. I'm going to get them to set level instead of up in the air like that. That's what I'm going to do. Is going to lower it a little tiny bit more. And here we go. It's Friday. I've got good news. Doug has sold the truck that he bought from Jim. And when he bought the truck from Jim, he told Jim that he was going to split the profit with him. And they have a big whopping profit that's going to be split. They have made $15,000, and I'm happy for the pair of them. Well done. Well done. Get off me. Good news. That's good news. Jim will be happy, that's for sure. Let's go for this. Let's make this. I just want to level this up a little bit. See right underneath that line? Just going to cut that V out, beat that down and flatten it. Here we go. I think Doug listed it on bringertrailer.com. It's a wide open market. It's a good market by the looks of things. And yeah, cool. I'm sure Jim will be happy. And the reason I mentioned that sale is because we filmed it. Everybody knows what it was paid for. A lot of people give Doug a little bit of grief. Doug told him he'd split the profit with them, and there's not much more you can say than that. Sold for 27,000 Canadian. Well done. Well done. Well done. That's all I can say. Well done. I need a hammer and a dolly to straighten that out. Well done. Just trying to straighten it out with a dolly, try to straighten that out a little bit, get the welder going, and then we'll weld that back down, and then I can make that straight. That's what I want, that's what I want, that's what I want. A little bit of gap would be nice. And the reason I'm saying a little bit of gap is for, you know what it's for? Penetration. Penetration, a little bit of gaps for penetration. Always, got to keep that in mind, always. All right. right, I like that. I'm just going to cut the other one exactly the same. That's all I'm going to do. Cut it exactly the same. Top of the line. That out of there. I want to straighten that out a little bit. Stick that in there. And I'm sticking that in there so I can bend that, obviously. Want it straight. Got a good gap going on there, but that's okay. We call that better penetration, don't we? Huh? Beautiful here in Nova Scotia today. Almost as beautiful as Jolene, almost. Let's turn on the welder. What I'm wanting to do is weld that back up. Get the hats laying on there. They're laying flat. I have not got a rear end that I want to put into it yet. We have an open drive shaft on the transmission. We have a closed drive shaft. I know there's something there that you can buy to change that over. Not interested right now. Do not want to spend any money on that. I'll probably try to find a rear end soon. As the cross member goes here, you can see it might interfere in my pumpkin. It might. And if it does, I will cut. I won't cut away first. I will make something that will fit and then cut away after because I enjoy the cross member. I want to keep it. I enjoy it. Alrighty, just eyeing this up. I can hit it at any point in time I want to if I find my hammer. That didn't even stick. It's better. I like that better. Tack it here. Just want to flatten it out so it's not got the belt. There's a hole there. Didn't notice that. Come on. I just changed the wire in that. We should be fine. Please don't mess with me. What is going on? What is going on? Are you serious? Alrighty. Just got to slow up here for a second, I guess. Didn't count on this. Why is that? I don't understand. Ooh, this is bad. I'm in a bad one right now. I'm in a pickle right here in a second. I'm in a pickle. Do not want to mess that up. How that got around there, I have no idea. Wow. Alrighty. I wouldn't dare put that through again. Alrighty. That's called a situation that happens once in a while. That's just called to try to slow you down. Not going to slow me down, no. I'm going to change it real quick. I'm going to change it real quick. back in there. Give myself a little bend. Hopefully that stays there. Yeah. This is how you change your wire. When this does like that, this comes down. It goes into your little line there where she's running through. You lift that up. Turn your gas off at always. I'm going to take the end off the welder. The reason you take the end off the welder is because the wire, you know, it comes through nicer. I'm even going to, I can pull it through with the end on it, but when I reload it, I'm going to end up taking the tip right out because I would not want it to not come through the hole of the tip, and it can do that sometimes. So you have to be careful. Uh-oh. What happened there now? Wow. Why am I in such a pickle here? Maybe I got a bend there going on. That could be bad. Don't know if I have any ends. Well, sir, 3 bags full. Do I have any ends in this bad boy? Should have something, maybe. Check on the other one. Pair of pliers and try to pull it through. It'll probably break off. And then you know what they call that? Ay. Holy smokes. The other welder. Let me see the light. Look at this one. Maybe it's ready to help. Let me see the light. Don't tease me. I see the light. Just put them in there in case. Let's go for it. Back into it. Anyways, I can see through it. Let's get back into it. Put our wire back in. Put it back on your positioning. There's a little piece that you shove in the center of the wire. It goes right there. I usually plug it in first because it has 2 holes where it can go into. It's just easier to put it on there and shove it on. Very easy to load. Get off. Just got to find the hole. There we go. Put our plastic thing back on. Put our wing nut back on. The faster you get it done, the faster you get back to work. Let's take this piece out where we plugged it in there. We'll get a nice straight thing going. You don't want to feed anything through your MIG welder that's bent. You don't want to do that. And the reason I'm saying that, because it messes up things. Any of this wire that gets bent, it doesn't go through the tips. You can see how it's coming over here. I got to feed that through its groove. And there is a couple different grooves. There's an 030 and an 023. So you really got to make sure that your welder is set to the right groove. Here we go. Let's put that down. Turn it on. We got the gas off. Reason I took the end out because I don't want it to fetch up. Gee. Hold it out straight generally. It's not a good idea to bend these cords. The straighter you hold them, the better they work for you. Reason I left the gas off because I'd be shooting gas out if I was loading the wire without. Hoping that we're coming through. Here we are. Just for me and you. And that's why we take it out, because it might not come through. That's a hole. Comes through there. Take it out just because it might not come through at the end hole there. We have a new used tip. We'll put that back on. Clean a little of this stuff out of the end of it because we can. Just like that. We'll put that back on. Turn our gas back on. Do a little two-step across the cement. Get to it. Get ready and do it again. Let's do it again. Alrighty. Had some gloves on there. Jolene's looking beautiful today. Yes, she is. She always does. Took a little drive in 62 this morning. Went and got our breakfast. I got to thank a friend for yesterday. Helped us out. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Had a good time. Back in action. Back in action. When we put the rear end down there, we're not just going to cap it. We're going to have to box it, fill it in. We'll probably have to make a U-bolt and there's a couple brackets. U-bolt the rear end in. We're putting the rear end in solid. That way there we're saving weight for the rear end springs, all that sort of stuff. Whatever saves weight, that's what we're going for. Keep forgetting about that hole. I'm going to weld it shut here in a minute. I want to grab some wire. Just make it easier instead of me burning through there. Just mocking it up. I want to get the ride height. That's what I want to get. I want to get the ride height. Need more material, so put it in there. Just moving around a little bit because I don't want to burn through. The heat's heavy. This frame has been completely sandblasted, primed and painted. I can tell because when I grind it off, there's primer everywhere I go. Just gonna fill this hole in this side because I filled the hole in that side. Make them both the same. Make them both the same. Gonna scuff the top off them. Actually, did I ruin my mark? I didn't. How's that? I have a zip cut here. I had a mark on the rear end where the rear end went. It's right there. Where it is. That's the center of my rear end. That's where I'm saying where I'm going to put, where'd they go? Right here. These are little hats, I guess. You can get them at the trailer plate for making trailers and that sort of stuff. I got them at Parts for Trucks. And now I know where my center is. I'm just going to put that on there, center that grinder mark I put in there. I'm going to run a straight piece of pipe across that so I know they're straight. I'm going to get a piece of pipe. Just to make sure they're straight. Here we go. Beautiful piece of exhaust pipe. I use it all the time. And the reason being is it gives you shape. That shape is hard to make. Exhaust pipe, sometimes it can make different shapes for you. Basically, I'm gonna grind off around the edges so I can weld it. This frame kind of kicks in a little bit at the ass end. I don't mind that. I'm going to straighten it out with these though. Just going to put that in the center of that. Where'd my other one go? Center there. You can see how I got my grinder line in the center. Want to see if it's going to sit straight. Straighten them out here a little bit. Yeah, can't see my line that well. I am in the center though. Center. Center to me. A little bit hanging over. A little bit hanging over. A little bit going forward. Just checking it out, see if it's the same on both sides. Basically what I'm doing. Looking underneath here, seeing the center of the square pipe. I can see a line drawn into there. I can see it. Looks like the center of this. A little bit on that side. A little bit on that side. Good to go. Let's weld her in there. That's what I'm saying. I'll just tack it for now. One tack. Take this off, and then I'm going to check them two holes and see if they're still center of the thing. Center to me, center to me. Take a look. That's what I'm looking for. When I pick that up, I want to see that was in center of that. That's in center of that. Center of that. Continue on. That fits in there nice. I just want the rear end to fit in there nice. I don't want these to be crooked. Go for it.
We're going to build it like the Blue Nose. Crooked and never been beat.
If we even manage to beat one V8 flathead going down the track, we will be ecstatic, wouldn't we? If we can even just beat one. But other than that, it's just going to be up for a great time.
Going for a good time. That's the gear I'm in. Going for a good time. That's the gear I'm in. Sometimes you really have to shift yourself sometimes and let yourself know what gear you're supposed to be in. And my gear on this thing is nothing but fun.
You know, nothing but having fun. That's about basically what I want to do. Have fun. It might lead to something else, but I want to have fun.
I just Cindy Lauper, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, people.
Alrighty. I'm gonna actually nail this one down.
Hope she's not winding up again.
Alrighty, that's not going anywhere. What I've got is I got two 30-inch wheels right here. I'm going to tack. Just a second there. Slow down for a second. Take a look for a second. Slow down and take a look for a second, Chetty. It's Friday! Looks good straight across that, you know, when you're looking at it, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at what's going on. It looks nice and straight across that cross member, and that cross member's in straight, so I'm very happy with that. Just look and see if it's nice and straight, that's all. Okay, so I got these 30-inch wheels. They're not gonna fit the center of that. I have not got a rear end that I'm gonna put in this right now. I think I've already explained that once. So, as I put that through there, I've got an inch that I'm like, there's going to be an inch allowance in the inside center of this. So that means when it's really mounted on the rear end, when I put this rim on there, that means I'm going to be a half inch what? Half inch shorter, half inch lower. I'm going to be a half inch lower because the pipe's going to go up. If it goes up an inch, I got an inch down the bottom. When I bring back to center, that means half it goes up top and half it goes to the bottom. So I'll be a half inch out on the downward motion. So wherever it lies, the height of the frame, I've got another half inch to go down if I run a 30-inch tire. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to plunk that exhaust pipe on there. I'll use that. Why not? Thank you, sweetheart. You can turn that off. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to zap a couple welds on this exhaust pipe. Ouch, it's hot there. Zap a couple places. That can't go anywhere. That's not going anywhere. And then I can just shove the wheels on. I can put the jack underneath it and I can jack it up, let it down, and see what it's going to look like. Because right now, 15 inches is not, well, see, 15 inches, it should be at the center of that pipe to give me a 30-inch wheel for that chassis to be that low to the ground. Do I want it lower? Or do we? Let's just check it out. I'm just going to run a couple, I'll just tack that on there, set that on there, and see what it looks like. See what it looks like. See, my pumpkin's going to be here. I probably am going to have to take a little bit of this out. That's fine by me. Center of this, dry shaft. Alrighty. Let's turn this back on. Figuring it as I go. Got the front end pretty well set up, I guess. Also, to get the 30-inch wheel underneath there, I have to section that now to make that be there. I don't know if I... Just keep going, I guess. We'll just keep going and see where it goes. If something changes, well, we'll just fix it. We'll fix it. A little bit out here.
Four little tacks on each one of these corners. Shouldn't take off. Make sure I burn that exhaust good.
Talking to Jolene earlier, I don't want to
Set the body down over the chassis. Exhaust pipe welds a little funny sometimes. It's got that
coating on it. I do not want to
set the body down over the chassis. I want to set it completely on top of the chassis.
chassis, so we are making a high boy, I guess you call it, a high boy in the sense of that the body's going to be sitting on the top of the frame. So I'm going to be, when we section this up, I'm going to be trying to cut a lot of the bottom of the car. Woo! It's hot out. Jolene just got stripped down. Yow! Well done, Jolene. Well done. Just going to stick this on there so the, see what the wheel does when I pull this off for a second. Get this out of the way. Do not have a rear end. I'm going to remind you again. Look at that now, would you? It's in there. Just want to have something so it holds it there, sort of, so it can't take off on me. That wire's a pain in the ass. Just going to weld this tab on there, hold that wheel there. Don't know if I want to waste this tab or not, but the other wheel's right here. That now, would you? Just want to weld, take something, put something on the back so the wheels don't fall in, that's all. Piece of metal of some, I got a piece of flat plate in here I'll put on there. Hoping this will do the trick. Cut that off a little bit. Just mocking things up. Basically all I'm doing is going to shove that in there like that. Weld that across here that it can't come in. I might even be able to move it around like this, but it's not probably the best. But when you haven't got something, I am not slowing down for, not slowing down, just going to do it. It moved on me, that's okay. Don't feel like welding too much on there, but I don't want it to fall off either. Just kind of spitting it on there. Spitting it on there. Just so I can sit the wheel on. Trying to get the same sort of distance away there. Not that I'm keeping them. You'd think I'm just keeping them on here, wouldn't you? Huh? You'd think I was keeping them on here. No, I'm not keeping them on here, just playing with the idea. Just welding it on fast, that's all I can tell you. Try and do as fast as I can. Don't really care what it looks like, as long as it's on there. Probably should have one on the outside. Cut this like this. Cut it in half. do to the outside to make it stay? That's good enough. Bum, bum, bum. Got it low enough, sweetheart?
Okay, she's the boss. She's the boss. We can always change it at any time. If we don't like something,
We can change it. What I'm doing though, I just want to get the ride height. Then I can sort of know how much I have to section the quarter panel or the rear panels of that car, which is going to be fun because I've never really I never sectioned anything like that before. No, I shouldn't say that. We did the 34 Chev in there. The other, we sectioned that one. But it's just all fun to me when you get to move things around, like we've moved the roof, the front window, when you get to move the quarter panels up. It's all fun. Like, it's the stuff that you can do
to have fun and make it look different. When we're done with this car, it will look like nothing you've ever seen before. And basically, that's what we're going for. We don't want to do something somebody else has already done.
I know that someone has chopped, you know, one of those cars before. I know that. But you have they gassered it? Have they made it with no suspension in the back? You know, are they going to drill it full hole? You know, that's the thing where you get to do whatever you want. And I am just only doing what I've seen other people do, but I'm applying it wherever I want to apply it, and so can you. There you go now, would you? I'm going to, see that brake? I should tack them on just a little bit better. There's a couple places on that exhaust pipe that don't look that healthy, right? Yeah.
Just to make sure. Don't want to see nobody get hurt or anything happen to anybody. Jolene's
Touching me and I love it. Jolene's touching me and I love it. Alrighty. Now, we're not at the center of, okay, we are at the center of the wheel right at the present moment. When I jack this up in the center of the frame there, and I let it down, it's going to come down a little bit further, and it's going to be at the bottom, or it's going to be at the top of this opening. So we're actually going to be a 1/2 inch lower when we put the rear end in. That's not much, or maybe even a little bit more. That's my brain trying to keep that in my brain, because right now I am trying to figure out what I want it to look like as we go down the track. And sometimes, you know, it takes a little bit to get where you're going. It takes a little bit in the old noggin. But I'll tell you, if you're not busy in the old brain, your brain can go so many places that you don't get nothing done. So I try to generally keep my brain on something so I get something done. And if you're not able to keep it there and not worry about something else, it's hard to get something done. I can guarantee you one thing. I can guarantee you this for sure, that anybody that knocks me is doing less. I guarantee it. Because anybody that's doing more is too busy. Right? You know what I'm trying to say? Here we go. It shouldn't be such a rush to let this thing down, but I want to look and see. I know that wheel isn't near the best. It isn't the best, I know. But it's doing what I want it to do. Now I can actually roll it around and do something with it. We really have to get out and find. So that's where that looks to me about where it's going to go. But no, it's on the bottom. So we're going to be a ½ inch higher than we are right this second. Hope nothing pops off. There you go, look at that. Doo, 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 doo. That's where we're at. I'm going to keep that jack underneath there and that piece of wood underneath there. Let's see. So that's basically what it's going to be for ride height. So what I'm going here, I'm going to get the tape measure going again. I've got to figure this out. It's not good if you don't. You can end up in a mess. Okay, we have a 30-inch tire going on there. And we can see the height of the car there where it's sitting there right now. We cannot get a 30-inch tire in there. I want the tire underneath the wheel well, so that means that this has to come up. And where we're going to be sitting on top of the chassis. Yeah. Let's check this out. I'm going to do the top of the chassis. If we're going to be sitting on top of the chassis, say 18 probably. 18. What would 18 tell me? What's 18 tell me? 18 tells me from the top of the wheel well. That'll give me the height. Huh. For this car to sit at this height, 18 from the back of that. I want the wheel well to fit in it. If we're sitting right there, if we're sitting on top of the frame, and I want 18, so that wheel lip, so if I'm going here, slow down here a little bit. If I'm going in here, and I'm saying that's 18 inches, and I want the wheel well on top of this, and I want it that low, we'll do 18 inches this way. 18 inches. There's 18 inches there from the wheel well down almost. I gotta slow down my brain here for a second. I want the bottom of the wheel well, this right here, and if it's that height, to be 18 inches. Well, 18 inches, we'll say, is probably right there. So I want that height right there. Not sure how far I'm going there yet. But that's basically what I want the chassis to look like. I don't think I want it to go any higher. Let's get this right here now. Okay, so 18 inches, if I want that wheel and this to be underneath of it, $18. I can't really read it. It's like 16, I guess. To 18 to be underneath it, I'd have to section it 2 inches, and to have it set up here, I'm gonna have to section it 1, 2, at least 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches to get that up to be 18 above that and set on top of that frame. Can't tell you. Where are we at for time, baby? 45? Let me look at it for a minute. And basically what I want to do with this here, now I can build my floor, get my floor going, and then I can set it inside the car. And we're going to cut the car off. We're going to be a high boy, so the frame is going to show. I'm going to section the back of that. Wow, there's just a lot of things going on to say where I'm going, where I'm not going. But I'm thinking that this is ride height. I'm thinking if it has to go lower, if I want it to go lower, we're going to have to do something different here in the back. I've got it melted on there. It's not going anywhere for right now. And I'm thinking that's a fine place to be. We got to face it, our pumpkin's going to be down about here somewhere. I'm hoping we don't have to take all that off. We might, not sure, but if we do, we'll connect it back together and we'll go from there. Alrighty, that's where I'm going for ride height for now. That's where I'm going for ride height, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get into the floor because that's another day. We'll do that another day. But it's Friday. I'm going to keep playing along here, just kind of figuring things out, where I'm going, what it's going to look like. And I'm kind of excited to show you, or show anybody, how to make a floor and look at a rusty car in a different way. And that's what you'll do. When you see something like that, when I make the floor for this thing and shove it on top of it, you will look at a rusty car a different way, I guarantee it. And basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to make something funny, enjoyable, something no one's ever seen before, and I'm playing at the same time, having fun. Let's go give away a hat or shirt, baby. Can you do it in here, right here? Where you want to do it? It's Friday. That was fun. I don't really know where I'm going a bit on it. I really don't. You're watching me struggle as I'm doing it. I'm trying to find things around the yard that I can do it with. And there will be a time I'm going to get back on the truck. No worries. Going to get back on it. I'm going to have to. It's just a matter of the outdoors is nice and makes me happy that I'm outdoors. And that's what I want to do. So that's what I do. And Jolene is accepting of that, and I love her. I love her so much. 421 comments. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're just kind of making car content and having fun at the same time. I'm thinking having no suspension in the back lightens the car. We'll let no power get away from the torque of the engine. That's what I'm hoping it's not going to do. And we're just trying to make it as light as we can. Also making something fun to look at. It's really going to be fun to watch this thing go down the track when I get it ready. We've lost 100 pounds because I will not be driving. Jolene will be driving, so there's a 100-pound loss there. We're losing weight. RS Neckmess? RS Neckmess. If we pronounce your name wrong, we apologize. At 11 minutes, Jim pointed out the need for wider bracing to manage the torque coming from the wheels. I'm relieved. Awesome, you know. I'm actually happy that Jim mentioned that too, because I was going to plan him on the inside there for a little while. I don't know why. I don't know why. But as we discussed it and talked about it, and that's what happens. You go over it in your brain, you look at it, and you figure it out, and you play with it. You learn by I hate to say it, you learn by making mistakes, and the faster you recover, the faster you move on, you know. I appreciate Jim, and I'm happy for Doug and Jim. They got a big profit to split, and signing out, and remember, you're only as good as your word.